Okay, so you know sometimes a band should know when to call it quits? Here's a pretty good example. So hello and yes, welcome back to another album review. Now I've been doing a lot of these lately, and a lot of the ones I've been doing recently are quite positive. I've been doing a lot of albums I really enjoy. I just done George Harrison's All Things Must Pass, and it got to be the second highest score of an album I've reviewed on this channel. So that's saying a lot. I thought, I've been doing a lot of really positive reviews lately. It's time to take an album which I don't like and kind of, I don't know, give it a score which isn't quite so high. And I really wanted to kickstart my Fleetwood Mac album reviews because I am a big Fleetwood Mac fan. I really love Fleetwood Mac. And I thought, well, a lot of my artists, like with Phil Collins and Paul McCartney, and now George Harrison and Eric Clapton, I've been starting with their first album and making my way through their catalogue in chronological order. So I thought with Fleetwood Mac I'll be a bit special, I'll be a bit different. I'm going to go from the back, we're going to go backwards. I know there is another album after this, Say You Will. However, that one's not pressed on vinyl yet. I don't know that album well. So I thought we're going to skip that one and we're going to go to Behind the Mask and we're going to make our way backwards through Fleetwood Mac's albums. So yes, it does mean I have to start with an album which I don't like. But anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to do today anyway. I wanted to talk about an album I didn't enjoy as much. And yeah, so anyway, with this album review, we're going to do the usual. We're going to give you a bit of information about the album. We're going to go over each track individually, mark each track individually out of 10. I'm going to show you my copy of the vinyl record, which I have here. And we're going to mark the artwork out of 10, and then we're going to add all the scores up, divide them by the total number of scores given, which will give us an overall marking for the album. But we're not done there, because then when we've done that, we've got to head over to the album ranking board and place this album on the album ranking board and see where it ranks compared to other albums that I've reviewed here on this channel. Also, one more thing before we get started, I have updated the album ranking board, so there's something cool to look forward to at the end there, something a little bit different. But anyway, before we get started, I do want to say I love Fleetwood Mac. They are one of my favourite bands. I love the original members, the 70s and going into the 80s members. I love Fleetwood Mac. They are a fantastic band. I have such a passion for them. I generally do think they are one of the best classic rock bands out there, and blues bands in their early stages with Peter Green and whatnot. So I really do love Fleetwood Mac, and it really is a bit painful that they've done an album like this where I have to kind of rag on it a bit. But anyway, for those of you, because I'm certain there are some people out there who will enjoy this album. For the people who like this album, I'm very sorry for the things I'm about to say. And yeah, this is just my opinion, so just take it as a pinch of salt. Of course, I know people are going to disagree, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine, of course. I'm happy that people disagree. I'm happy that some people like this album. But in my opinion, this is an album which I don't like that much. So if you're going to sit here and watch the video, be prepared for me to kind of rag on this album a bit. So anyway, Fleetwood Mac Behind the Mask, let's get started. This is their 15th studio album, if you're going to count them all. It was released on the 10th of April 1990. It somehow managed to get its way to number 1 in the UK album charts, and number 18 in the US charts, which is a much better number for this album, I think. This is the album which, since the self-titled album, Fleetwood Mac, this is the album which does not feature Lindsey Buckingham. He was not in the band here, so they had to replace him. And to replace someone as great as Lindsey Buckingham, they really had to pull out the stops. And they couldn't find anyone as good, basically. They had to get 2 members. They got Billy Burnett and Rick Vito to replace him. So they had to get 2 members in to replace him. It's like, that kind of just shows how good Lindsey was, really. And even them two together do not make up for the huge loss of the band, in my opinion. Because for those of you guys who don't know, I love Lindsey. I think he's fantastic. He was really the core and the talent behind the 80s and late 70s Fleetwood Mac, I feel. And without him, it is a huge blow to the band. So anyway, this album has 13 tracks on, I believe. There's a lot on here. So we'd best get started. Anyway, so the album actually opens up with one of the better tracks. It opens up with Sky's the Limits, which is a Christine McVie song. And it starts with a very simple 80s kind of beat. And, you know, this is one thing which I really feel on this album. I don't have anything against the 80s sound. I love it. It's great. But a lot of artists had started to move on at this point. Even some of the classic 80s acts, you know, had started to move on and progress into different sounds. Fleetwood Mac here, they're keeping the 80s sound, especially Christine McVie. You can really hear it on this track. And it's like, I don't know why we haven't moved on like everyone else. Why we aren't being a bit more experimental and bringing back some more kind of classic rock beats. But they're sticking with the 80s sound. There's some synthesizers going on here. So anyway, we'll roll with it. But I love how Christine sings this song. And with Stevie in the chorus, that bit is actually really good. But overall, the song's a bit repetitive, I find. It's just a fun... Every song on here, there's really not much to it. I can't really go into much backstory like I did with All Things Must Pass, where every song had kind of a meaning. A lot of these songs are just very simple lyric beats, and again, this is one of them. It's just very simple, there's not much I can say. It's just a repetitive, fun song. It's very average, really, but I like it a little bit, so I'm going to give this one a 6 out of 10. And then... already, the album, you know, it's got off to an okay start, we'll say, and already the album is going to just go, because we get a track called Love is Dangerous, which has an interesting guitar riff at the start. And I remember the first time I was playing this, the first song was okay, second song opens, it's like, oh, okay, maybe this album won't be that bad. Well, I love Stevie Nicks, and her vocals on this one are actually pretty good. Her vocals are pretty good. However, her vocals mixed with Rick's, no, it does not work at all. The vocals are dreadful at the start. Absolutely dreadful. Although I'll give Stevie credits. In the verses, she kind of takes up and does the vocals on her own. And she's very good on her own. And Stevie works well with Lindsay on early albums. She works well with Christine on the last track. However, with Rick on this song, it is awful. The vocals are rubbish. The song just does not sound good at all, really. The lyrics are just so simple. Again, the song really doesn't have much going from it, apart from the great drumming and the great bass work, really. And, you know, during the choruses, Stevie's vocals are pretty good, I'll say. However, you know, that's just such a minor thing, really, compared to the song as a whole. This song is just not very good, in my opinion. I'm going to give this track a 3. And then we get on to what I consider the worst track on the album, so we're really not off to a good start at all here. In the Back of My Mind. Just saying the title makes me... Anyway, the song opens with a weird, deep, dark voice. And I can't understand what he's saying. I don't even know what the purpose of it is. And I didn't even go online to research it because I generally didn't care. It goes on for about a minute and a half, believe it or not. Just weird, deep, dark voice. I don't know what it's meant to be doing. I don't know what effect it's meant to have. Whether it's meant to build us up for the song. But it's so bad. It's like it serves no purpose. The only thing that I thought it could be doing is it's building us up for some really fun tune. No, the build-up is completely pointless. The song is boring. It is just... When we get to the song itself, it's just the vocals are flat. Everything about it is flat. No one's putting in any effort, it sounds like. 1 out of 10 for this song. It is not good at all. And then we get onto a track called Do You Know, which picks the album up a bit. Phew, thank God we've got a decent song here. It's a nice slower song. It's, you know, this album here has a lot of slow songs on, but this is one of the better ones. We got Rick on this one singing with Christine again, and it's a much nicer sound, really. It kind of reminds me a bit of REM in the early 90s. So yeah, it's not a bad song. It really has a much nicer feel to it. It's a lot more enjoyable. There's a lot more kind of like effort put into this track. I will give this track a bit of a higher mark. I'll give this one a 6 as well. This is not a bad song. So anyway, before we carry on, I'm going to have a quick drink. Not a cold Pepsi today. Not a cold Pepsi, but much needed. And then we get a track called Save Me, which, again, another Christine full-on one. I love Christine McVie. I think she's brilliant. And she definitely has the best track on here. Sky's the Limit. and she's definitely the most talented on here. However, she really doesn't want to let go of this 80s sound, because again, on this track, it's just very 80s sounding. And again, I hate to keep ragging on that. I like the 80s sound, but it's like we've already had that from Fleetwood Mac. We've had that from all the artists in the 80s, all these kind of classic rock ones, you name them, The Who, Paul McCartney, The Police, everyone, they've all kind of gone into this 80s sound, but they've all moved on at this point. Christine McVie, however, is still pushing for it. And again, the song is just pretty boring, it's pointless, it doesn't do anything. I don't hate this song, so I'm not going to go mega low on the mark, but I don't really like it, so I'm going to just give that one a 4 out of 10. And then we get a track called Affairs of the Heart, which is another Stevie song, and the vocals from Stevie here are much better. Really good vocal performance from her, I'd say. It's just an innocent song. Again, it doesn't do anything for me. I don't dislike it though, so it's just, again, straight down the middle song. The best I can do for this one is give it an average mark, which is a 5. So I'll give that track a 5 out of 10. Then we get a track called When the Sun Goes Down, which is a fun foot tapping song. And I mean, this song's okay. Again, another average one where I'd go straight down the middle. However, the song really just doesn't fit. It doesn't fit this album at all. It's a little bit more rocking, a little bit more, you want to get up and dance to. But the rest of the album is just so boring and dry and just no effort gone into it. It's like this song really doesn't make much sense here. And it's like if this was a single or if it was on a previous Fleetwood Mac album, it would have been much better. But really, it just doesn't fit. It feels weird on this album. So again, I'm just going to give this track a 4. It's not a good song to begin with. It's very average, I'd say. But yeah, just very out of place here. But anyway, that is it for side 1. Whew. So side 1, not bad actually. It's a very mixed, but it's a very average A side to an album, we'll say. There's some good moments and bad moments. So when we hit side 2, that everything just, the band just completely gave up, in my opinion. We get the title track, Behind the Mask. Behind the Mask. Oh my god. As much I love Christine McVie, I've said it already in this video. I love Christine McVie, she's brilliant. This might be the worst song she's ever done. A slow tune with just, it has this cool guitar on the intro kind of thing. And we hope, the intro has this very kind of cool sound to it. And, we think, oh, okay, that's cool. But then when you realise that same tune is going to go on throughout the whole song, it's like, okay, this is a bit annoying. And Christine McVie, her vocals are just very plain on this one. It's just boring, dry, sleepy time music. I don't know how else to describe this song. I don't like it at all. I'm going to give it 2 out of 10. If you want to hear a good song called Behind the Mask, go to Eric Clapton's song from August. That is a much better Behind the Mask. This one is not good at all. And then we get Stand on a Rock, which is... This song makes me laugh because the lyrics are just bloody... I mean, the lyrics are just god-awful on this song. Whoever writ this one, I don't know what was going through their head. Anyway, another just boring song that doesn't go anywhere. The vocals are average at best. It just sounds like they weren't trying to experiment. They weren't trying to do anything cool like Lindsay. I mean, you listen to Lindsay on this track here, Big Love, which we got the 12-inch single to. How cool was his vocals on that? How amazing was he? Experimenting with his vocals and trying to make them do different things. The 2 new members, they just, no, we're going to just sing pretty average, pretty boring. It's like, do you want this album to be successful? Do you want to even try and be a new Lindsay? Not that it would have worked probably, but it's like they didn't even want to try. The album is just not very good. The song is just not very good at all. I'm going to give this track a 3 out of 10. Then we get Hard Feelings, where the lyrics are an improvement. But again, it feels exactly the same to the last one. Just pretty blah, pretty boring. Again, it just doesn't do anything. It doesn't go anywhere. I really have no interest in this song. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 10. However, I will say I love the bass work from John. I love that. The bass work is great, but I'm still going to give it a 3. And then we get a track called Freedom, which is one of the better ones. It's a little bit better. It's a little bit better. Okay, so it's more of a rocking song. Has a cool start with some good vocals from Stevie on this one. Probably our best vocal performance on the album, I'd say. The chorus is good on this one. It's a bit more interesting, I guess, than other songs on the album. However, again, I don't have too much feelings towards this one, so I'm just going to give it a 5, really. And then, When It Comes to Love is the next track. Oh my god. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm just not feeling this review. This is just... Anyway, When It Comes to Love. Another song where they try to rock out a bit more again, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. Oh my god, how am I doing reviewing this album? Oh. Just another boring track which doesn't go anywhere. I'm losing my mind on this review, I swear. 2 out of 10. Okay, last track. Let's finish this, for God's sake. I've had enough. Next track is called The Second Time, and it's a nice slow acoustic song, and I like that. I like slow acoustic songs. It sounded so great until Stevie starts singing. I love her vocals, she's great, love Stevie. However, her vocals do not go well with a nice slow acoustic song. They don't. They should have got either John McVie to do it. John McVie. Oh my god, I tell you I'm losing my mind. Christy McVie should have done this one probably. And if Christy McVie had done this, it probably would have got a 5 out of 10 or more. However, Stevie's vocals do not go with this the slow acoustic song at all. No, she should stick to her solo albums, really, than doing songs like that. Anyway, oh god, we've done it. We've actually gone over every track from the Behind the Mask. Oh my god, it's a miracle. Anyway, now it's time to look at the album artwork. And fun facts about this album cover: the band decided that they didn't want to feature on the cover, and the album cover actually got a Grammy nomination for Best Album Packaging. Oh my god, what were people thinking? This is a bloody awful cover. It is dreadful. You want to see the band, not a bunch of strangers. You know, I mean, the cover's just... The picture is small. It doesn't take up the whole cover. You know, we'd like to see it's just so small. You can't even make out how many people in the back very well. We got a woman here in like a wedding dress with a jacket on. And I don't know what's happening with her. We've got, I don't know, this guy looks like he's just got off work and he's just coming out to chill out. We got B.B. King sitting there on the guitar. And then we got Michael Jackson over here. And then, I don't know who she is. She probably works at McDonald's. And then I don't know about this guy either. He looks like a mass murderer or something. So I have no idea what on earth that cover is about. And how the bloody hell it got a nomination for Best Album Packaging. It's the White Album is a better cover. Pink Floyd's The Wall is a better cover. Anyway, back of the album, that should have been the cover. I like that photo. I do. That is a good photo. However, again, I'd like to see it on a larger scale. It's just a small photo pushed to the side. Yeah, okay, alright. Inside we do actually get a picture in a sleeve, which is nice, I guess. You get to see the members of the band. Yeah, so not that we really care about the members too much, other than the original 4. And then all the lyrics in case you want to sing along, because it might be the only entertaining factor about this album. And then get to the record, there's our Warner Brothers label, of course, and Warner Brothers, you know, normally putting out some good records. I don't know what they were thinking here. 90s record, though, of course, very thin and flimsy, but anyway. Whew. Okay, what am I going to give the album artwork? Well, I gave us an inner sleeve, so I like that. I like the back picture, but it's not a gatefold. The cover is dreadful. It is ridiculously funny, in fact. It's just... You know, if you do a cool album cover, you know, like, I don't know, something, you know, picture or animate or something, you know, like Captain Fantastic or something, you know, or get a nice painting on there or something. You don't just put a bunch of strangers on your album cover. That's weird. So, I hate this cover. I hate it. So, yeah, I give the album artwork a 3 out of 10, so, yay! Anyway, oh, we've done it. We've actually gone over everything on this album. So now we're at the end. We're at the end of the review. What am I going to give this overall? I've added up all the scores and divided it by 14 because there's 13 tracks in any album artwork. This album, out of 10, is going to get a 3.5. 3.5 out of 10. If you like Fleetwood Mac, I would say just check out the song Sky's the Limit, Do You Know, Freedom, and I don't know, maybe When the Sun Goes Down. That one's not awful, I guess, or Save Me. But I would say just check out at least Sky's the Limits, Do You Know, just check them, and Freedom. Just check them 3 tracks out. The rest of it actually is a real downer for Fleetwood Mac, because Fleetwood Mac Rumours, which is fantastic. Tusk, while it was disappointing, it was still a fun album. Mirage and Tango in the Night were very fun 80s albums, and then this one here was just like, you know, we're going to mess up the Fleetwood Mac reputation. But anyway, 3.5 out of 10. Let's head over to the album ranking board and I can show you my new thing on the album ranking board. So yes, here we are over to the album ranking board. I have shrunk today because this is me standing up. Look, I've actually had to shrink a bit because we've got to go pretty low on the album ranking board. And as you can tell from my last album reviews, the album ranking board has changed. Instead of doing the orange strips now, I've now simply printed out a picture of the album cover and put the score next to it. So there we are. And this is officially the lowest score I've ever given to an album. I'm going to put it right here. Can you guys see it? It's just there. On a 3.5. The lowest one was John Lennon and Yoko Ono Sometime in New York City on a 3.6. But John Lennon is no longer at the bottom, which is a good thing because John Lennon is amazing. So, John, you're saved. You're no longer at the bottom. Fleetwood Mac has now taken the blame for that. But anyway, I'm going to pull my camera up quickly and just do you guys a quick close-up of how the board is looking now, which I'm very happy with. So, yeah. Anyway, that's the new album ranking board there. So then, anyway, that is it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I was just happy to show off the album ranking board there. That was definitely the highlight of this video because, oh my god, I will never play this album again, I swear. I'm just, bleh. It is officially the worst album on my album ranking board. I wouldn't say it's the worst album out there. There's plenty worse out there. But out of the albums I've reviewed on this channel, it is definitely the worst album I've reviewed so far. And I would not recommend it. No, I'm sorry to fans of this album, because I know there are some out there, and I respect you, I'm pleased you enjoy it, but for me, I'm not going to recommend it to anyone. If I'm going to recommend Fleetwood Mac, I'm going to go either Rumours, or Fleetwood Mac, or I'm going to go back to the early blues stuff, because that is far superior to that. The Peter Green stuff blows that out the water. But anyway, that is it for this album review. I'll be coming back for another one soon. I've been enjoying my album reviews lately. I've got a couple requests in. So yeah, I think the first request up, which I'll be doing, is the Queen, A Night at the Opera. But anyway, that is it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like the video, please subscribe, please leave a message. I'll see you guys next time.